Accra is growing and it's happening very fast. And just look around you and you'll see the obvious. Our skyline is changing. From Airport City to cantonments, from Laboni to East Legon, the cranes are there as proof. There are new towers, there are new apartments, and new promises of luxury. And it's hard to find a residential project in the capital which doesn't claim to be luxurious. As to if they all qualify to bear that tag of luxury, well, that will be up for debate in the coming episodes. But then, with all the vertical growth happening, many are wondering if we as Ghanaians are really ready for high rise living. Let's be honest, we love our space. And our last two episodes touched on this discussion concerning space as to how much space is enough space. And you can click up here to check it out. So, of course, we love our big compounds, we love our flower gardens, our lawns, and generally we need space to stretch a little bit. But as the city gets denser, we need to figure out if that lifestyle is still sustainable. The rise of high-rise buildings, no pun intended, is not limited to just Ghana. Every growing city eventually has to go vertical. It's basic urban economics. Now, we can't run away from it. Land in central areas become scarce, populations rise, and developers start looking up instead of out. Now, in Accra, land prices have skyrocketed. It's so crazy. Some prices can easily send over 80% of the working class into depression because, the less said, the easier it may be for us to bear. Now, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, the population of Greater Accra grew from about 4 million in 2010 to over 5.4 million in 2021, and the projection suggests that the numbers could hit about 7 million by 2035. This means more people, same area of land. So naturally, the city will have to expand upwards and not outward. And this is not just a trend, it is urban evolution. I know on the ground, many would consider locations that are on the outskirts of Accra as part of Accra, some place like Kaswa, but then really, we know that Accra has not gone that far. But then the real conversation we need to be having is, what does this growth mean and what are the implications for how we live and how we think about the concept of home in Accra? We need to take a sidestep and look at why many Ghanaians are resistant to living in apartments. Now, let's start with the obvious. Apartments in Accra are expensive and they're marketed in dollars regardless of the pricing being quoted in Ghana cedis. Sometimes I feel like quoting in dollars helps to minimize the punch, in a sense that if I say $100,000, it sounds big, but then the same amount in Ghana cedis will be over 1 million Ghana cedis. 1 million Ghana cedis sounds plenty. Anyway, in most prime areas in Accra, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments can sell between $120,000 and then $300,000, or rather 1.3 million Ghana cedis and around 3.3 million Ghana cedis. Now, for the middle class Ghanaian earning between 3,000 cedis to 10,000 cedis a month, that's not just high, it's very much impossible. Just yesterday, one of our followers on TikTok asked this question, and she spoke about the fact that she's earning about 3,500 cedis a month and wants to know how she can own a property. And I bet you know what her response was. Even if you're making about 20,000 cedis a month, you're still not close to easily affording a prime apartment in Accra. So more people are affected than we may think. Beyond the crazy prices of apartment units, you also have to deal with service charges, which can feel like a silent second rent, and it can hurt quite badly. Many apartment complexes charge an average of about $200 a month, or a little over 2,000 Ghana cedis a month, just for maintenance, security, and cleaning. That's fine if you're earning in dollars, or maybe if you're living the high life. But then for most residents, that feels like paying rent all over again, and there's no running away from it. Once you're in an apartment, you will have to pay the service charge. And because these high-end apartments have set a tone, new developments will also copy the same structure, which makes city living unnecessarily and overly expensive. Now, I'm not demonizing service charges, no. The concern is rather the cost of the charge and not what the money is used for. As in, it's expensive, 2,000 Ghana cedis a month and even more in some areas. But even beyond the money, there are deeper reasons why many Ghanaians are not keen on living in apartments yet. Now, it's cultural, in the sense that for the longest time, owning land has been one of the ultimate symbols of success and legacy in the typical society in Ghana. Our parents taught us that the ultimate goal in life is to own a plot of land and build something on it. So in an apartment, you own the space, but then you don't really own the land, and this doesn't carry the same prestige for many people. And they don't like this concept because, they feel like you're living in the sky. Our culture runs deep in our veins, and it will take some time to redefine the status quo. Now, beyond culture, there's also the aspect of psychology, in the sense that we can all agree that home is more than just a physical space. It's an emotional space. And apartments can sometimes feel sterile. I mean, no yard, no lawn. I mean, you just own your space. And generally, apartments don't feel like home yet for many people. It's about privacy and it's about autonomy. We value our space and we also value our freedom. We want to do whatever we like, even if that means blasting our music out loud, having friends and family over, or pounding your fufu with, some good light soup and a touch of Kobe. I mean, you know how it is. But then for apartments, it's different. In an apartment, you have neighbors, there are rules and structures to abide by, and this can feel quite restrictive, and you can't just do what you like. And as usual, many people don't like to be limited on what they paid good money for. The trade-offs here is that you get to enjoy things like the gym, 24-hour security, property management, and all the other amenities that come with living in an apartment. But then with that, you also give up some level of independence. Now, are we ready to trade our compounds for convenience? So you'd see that people are not just rejecting apartments because of the cost, they're also rejecting apartments because of what it represents for them. As in, it's a shift from control, space, and also tradition towards shared, regulated, and vertical living. And that's a huge leap, and it's not just all about the finances. The general marketing we come across often portrays apartments as affordable luxury, and it's more like an oxymoron in a sense that, here in Accra, it's like affordable and luxury are not friends. The reality is that most property developers are targeting a very specific end of the market. They're targeting the diaspora buyers, they're targeting expats, and also upper income locals. And I get it. The cost of building is very high. Cement prices, imported fittings, land documentation, and cost of financing all eat into the profit margins for developers. And so they will end up pushing or passing on this cost to buyers. And this pushes the average Ghanaian further away from the city center because, the prices are high and they cannot afford. So the people who actually make the city run, like our nurses, our doctors, our teachers, public and some private sector workers, they can't afford to live near where they work. That's why you'll find people commuting from places like Amasaman, Oyarifa, Kaswa, and spending hours in traffic just to get to work in Accra. Here's the reality we need to face. The population density in Accra will continue to increase whether we like it or not, and the shift to apartments is happening. It will be one of the ways to accommodate the many who need to live and do business in the city, but then it must be executed properly. Now, more people will move from other regions for work, for school, and even opportunities, and it's inevitable. As demand for living spaces rise, definitely price will go up too, both for rent and also for sale. It's how markets work. Now, the only way to balance this is through supply, by building more, building smarter, and also building across different price points. The present challenge we're facing is that what is being built now is at the top end of the market. You'd see luxury towers everywhere, but then not enough livable mid-range apartments that the average professional can afford. So as we go vertical, we risk building a city where only a few people can truly live comfortably and everyone else just commutes through it. If high-rise living is the future, and it looks like it is, then we need to start building smarter and not just taller. That means affordable apartment models that actually fit the middle class. That means transparent service charges with clear value. That also means energy-efficient designs that cut running costs. It also means policies that encourage local financing and long-term mortgage options for the everyday Ghanaian. And for developers, maybe it's time to create tiered housing systems where people can start small, own gradually, and then move up without needing to leave the city completely. And that may mean rent to own. The skyline in Accra is changing, and that is not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. It shows progress, it shows ambition, and it shows growth. But then as we rise higher, we must also think deeper. We must think about who gets to live in the spaces we're building and what kind of city we're really building. Because high-rise living is not just a design trend. It's a reflection of how we want to live as a people. And if we get it right, we'll build not just towers, we'll end up building communities in the sky. I'm Desmond Kafui, and this is Ghana Ground Up. Kindly subscribe, like, share, and I'll catch you in the next episode.